Soft, dramatic music plays. Aerial shot of a peaceful suburban neighborhood. Cut to a man standing beside his truck shaking his head. Narrator, calm but sharp tone. You ever deal with people so entitled they think they own the whole neighborhood? Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I moved into my late uncle's property, a quiet corner lot just outside an HOA community, or so I thought. Within a week, a group of clipboard-carrying HOA enforcers showed up at my door, demanding I pay their mandatory neighborhood fee. When I told them, "I'm not in your HOA," they smirked, took pictures of my house, and called the cops for non-compliance. The officers showed up, confused, until they ran the property records. Turns out, those self-righteous HOA board members had been renting their offices from a management company my uncle secretly owned. And when he passed, guess who inherited it all? That's right, I became their new landlord. And that's when things got really interesting. It all started when I decided to move out of the city and into my late uncle's old farmhouse. The property was charming, large oak trees, an old red barn, and a quiet cul-de-sac that backed up to a newer development. I didn't think much about the neighborhood politics. I just wanted peace. Within days, a woman named Patricia showed up. She was the HOA president, or as the neighbors called her, Queen Pat. She handed me a thick binder labeled Community Guidelines and demanded I repaint my fence to match HOA-approved colors. I politely told her, "Ma'am, I'm not part of your HOA." Her smile froze. "Everyone in this area is part of the HOA," she snapped. I showed her my deed. The boundary line clearly excluded my property. She didn't like that. She told me, "We'll see about that," and stormed off. I brushed it off until the harassment began. Notices appeared on my door. Violation, unapproved lawn decor, fines for late fees, even threatening letters. Then came the cops. One Saturday morning, 2 police cars pulled up in front of my driveway. Officers approached cautiously, saying they received reports of a non-compliant homeowner refusing lawful HOA directives. I handed them my paperwork, deed, property map, and county zoning letter. The officers looked it over, clearly realizing this was nonsense. One officer, suppressing a smirk, said, "Sir, you're not under HOA jurisdiction. They can't enforce anything here." Patricia appeared again, furious, waving her binder. "He has to comply. Everyone does." The officer calmly replied, "Ma'am, this property is outside your boundaries." Drop it. That should have ended it. But Patricia didn't like being wrong. She muttered something about escalating legally and stomped off. Later that night, I started digging through my uncle's files. He'd owned several rental lots, one of which he'd leased to the HOA management company. My uncle had been collecting rent from the very people trying to boss me around, and the lease? It expired in 2 weeks. I called the county office to confirm, and sure enough, the building listed as the HOA headquarters was part of my inherited estate. I was now their landlord. I waited until lease renewal day. Patricia and her board arrived, smug as ever, ready to sign their renewal forms. When I introduced myself as the new property owner, their faces turned pale. Patricia tried to brush it off. "You must be mistaken." I handed over the official deed and rental contract. "No mistake. Starting next month, rent increases by 25%. Also, late fees apply after the 5th. Their jaws dropped. Patricia sputtered, "You can't do that!" "Oh, but I can," I said. "You see, I'm not in your HOA, but you're in my building." The silence that followed. Priceless. The HOA board scrambled. They tried to negotiate, begged for leniency, even accused me of retaliation. I kept it professional. Business is business. When they missed their first payment under my new terms, I issued a formal eviction notice. Word spread fast. Neighbors who had been bullied by the HOA for years started cheering me on. Patricia tried to rally the community, but people were done. They started questioning every rule, every fine, every abuse of power. Membership dropped. People began refusing to pay dues. Meanwhile, I renovated the office building and leased half of it to a local charity, rent-free. The HOA lost their meeting space. Patricia finally resigned after a heated argument with her own board. Months later, the neighborhood was peaceful again. Without the toxic HOA leadership, residents formed a friendly volunteer committee to handle small issues together. No threats, no fines, just cooperation. I often think back to that first day when Patricia called the cops. She wanted to show authority, to prove dominance. But what she didn't realize was that respect can't be demanded. It has to be earned. I never wanted revenge, just fairness. But maybe, just maybe, karma wanted to make a point. Now, whenever I drive past that old HOA office, my office, I smile. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud or cruel. It's quiet, legal, and written in ink on the deed to the very building they thought they ruled. Narrator, closing softly, never underestimate the quiet guy with paperwork. Sometimes he owns the land beneath your feet.